In a world where machines are becoming smarter and more advanced than ever before, we are here to explore the cutting edge of artificial intelligence. Meet our host, Eric Anthony Jones, aka Ruler in Peace, as he dives into the world of AI, its benefits and its potential dangers. He, along with his future hosts and co-hosts, will be speaking to the people who are at the forefront of AI development and its early implementation stages. We'll show you how AI can revolutionize industries and transform our daily lives, and will confront the fears surrounding AI in order to take you beyond the fear of a world existing only of cold logic. By the time this journey is over, we will discover the power of AI and delve into the creative uses of AI, sparked out of the creative ingenuity unleashed within the depths of the human mind. Join us on this action-packed journey into the world of artificial intelligence, and don't forget to hit the like and subscribe button. Hello, everyone. It's like, welcome to Machine Minds, the show where we explore the latest in artificial intelligence and its impact on our world. I'm your host, Ruler in Peace, and today I'm joined by Dr. Jorge Onate. Forgive me if I butchered your last name, but I think I.
No, you're fine. You're fine. It's Jorge Onate.
Junior is who is a psychiatrist in the Philippines, and we are very, very excited to have you here. And so, without further ado, let me just say, Dr. Jorge, thank you so much for joining us today. And to start off, can you please introduce yourself and tell us a bit about you, your background, and your background in AI?
All right. I've been working on this AI for about 2 years. But if you start with me, I've psychiatrist for quite some time now, and I've been practicing here in the Philippines, especially here in my beloved city. Uh, though I was born in the States, I ended up coming here to become a doctor. And what I basically want to tell you guys is that the reason why I came up with trying to make this AI was in the past 2 years, especially during COVID, we found that there was a increase of people suffering from mental illness, and there weren't enough, and there aren't enough uh, people to help uh, all these people with mental problems. And I came up with the idea that uh, has to be somebody to be there 24/7. So we thought of coming up with an app for AI so that we can help all these people who need to get immediate attention or have questions about their mental health as immediately possible. So with me for the past 2 years, I was thinking about like, let me work with some people and try to come up with this AI. And that's my background when it comes to the AI. I am just a psychiatrist. I just wanted to find the right people to AI to help the people who need help, especially with mental problems. If you look at the statistics, 1 in 5 people, adults, will have a mental problem for it based on the research that's available right now.
Wow,
We get
that's those are significant statistics actually. And so um, it's clear that you have a passion for people and a passion for helping using AI to help people. So my question is, what do you see as the future of AI in the area that you're talking about, in mental health, in the industry as a whole? What do you see as the future of AI? What do you hope for, and what do you see as the future?
well, the future for I get it that the future for AI is that I hope it helps people. I hope it makes things better for people and not live a life that sounds like uh, Skynet, Terminator, and all that, the AI turning on us.
Hmm.
But I like to see that the, the people are going to be helped by this AI, especially in mental health. Because this is the thing, you cannot, I'm, and I'm telling you this, and this is why the realization came up to me. I have a lot of friends that want to get in touch with me, and I'm human. I need to sleep. When I wake up in the morning, I have at least 20 messages of patients that need my help. And sometimes I, I mean, I'm human. I need to sleep, and they can't get the help they wanted in the middle of the night, like 3 a.m. You know, so there's a gap that needs to be filled. That's one. That's one of the gaps that there should be some help, and you can use the app to get it, or use a web app to get it, and talk to somebody, right? Um, then there's another side that most people don't talk about. Uh, it doesn't happen too much in the States, but it happens to other countries. They mental health is still a stigma, right? People do not want to talk about mental health, or they're too ashamed to talk about mental health. In other cultures, and including here in the Philippines, is that when you're seen going to a psychiatrist, some of the older generations, not so much in the younger generation, but in the older generation, they feel that if you go to a psychiatrist, a psychologist, you end up being known as, the colloquial term is buang, which means you're crazy and there's something wrong with you. And anybody who goes into that situation, they feel they're being judged, or they'll feel that I don't want anybody to know that there's some mental health problem I'm going through. So I don't want to go to a psychiatrist or psychologist, even just talk. And this is the thing with the AI. I don't really need to talk to a real person, but I can get some advice about my mental health. And the thing is about with AI is we really need to teach it to be better. So we do the input, we try to figure out what to put in it. And it's learning how to talk to people uh, more casually. And the idea is it almost feels like a conversation with somebody. And the idea is somebody that you know isn't going to tell your neighbor that, I saw this guy, he went into psychology, psychiatrist, and blah, blah, blah. And I think he's crazy. You don't want, you don't. So you can do it at the comfort of your home and actually talk to somebody immediately as soon as you need it. And this is what I think the AI help by using technology to help people with questions about stuff instead of having, doing other stuff that's not productive for them, and using technology instead of distracting them,
Hmm.
but using technology, the AI, to actually help them and get the help they need so that they can settle whatever's bothering them, whatever's top of mind for them, so that they end up being more productive than the opposite of what's happening now in the world. I hope
I
that
agree
answers
with
your
you
question.
completely. No, no, yeah, I agree with you. So what I think if I extrapolate what I believe I've heard you say, is that for you, you see a world where people will be able to get the support that they need without having to be labeled with the stigma of seeking mental health um, support for their mental health because they'll have AI, at their fingertips, so to speak. And that would be really nice because we do live in a world where people are so judgmental, and whether it be in the religious community or in the secular community, etc. In the religious community, there's scriptures out there about first take the log out of your own eye, then you'll see clearly to remove the speck from your brother and sister. But it seems like people tend to forget such passages and just you know what I'm saying. It's like and
Yeah.
so I too could dream and see a world where people could safely receive guidance um, and and support in a comforting way that's um, secure and I don't want to say just just not in the eyes of everybody else, just to be able to quiet those people who are talking. And at the same time, like you said, you mentioned about being available 24 hours, 24/7, so that when you can't be reached, it's like your AI can be reached, and then your AI can handle and keep a patient stable until is like they can be handed over to you is like the
Yeah,
psychiatrist.
that's the thing I was talking about, Eric. Because like, I didn't want to. It would be awesome to have like a call center 24/7 of a bunch of clones of me, so that
Mm-hmm.
they can answer all the questions. All my patients will have the questions on what they have, and they'll always be there. Then when AI came up, and then we're like, maybe we can do this, and let's see what we can do. Maybe develop something like that. That was like, yeah, you're absolutely right that it's a stop hold in the meantime that I can't be there for them. At least they can still get some advice. But don't get me wrong, I just want to be clear about this. I am not trying to replace any psychiatrist, any psychologist, any mental health worker. What I'm trying to say is that this is an augmentation, a way of helping people to get the help that they need when we're not available. and and
Absolutely.
and this particular thing is not for there to diagnose, right? I just want to be
Yeah.
clear about that. This is not diagnosis. This is for people to get uh initial understanding. Like, you could literally ask it, what movies do I want to watch to, to help me feel better, what, to feel light, to feel, not as heavy in my heart. You can ask these kinds of mundane questions that would actually put you in a good mood, which is the
Mm-hmm.
hope of doing these kind of things. Mind you, I did not pick these movies. The AI did.
Yeah.
The category, whatever information it got over the internet, and the best information when it comes to psychology and psychiatry, whatever available information there is out in the world, that's what we're trying to teach it. Um, the idea of it being able to change someone's mood is amazing, especially now more than ever. There was a study that came out sometime in July uh, 2023, I think, and it half of the world, the prediction was half of the world will have mental problems in the coming years. Half. Can you imagine a world half? I don't know how many billions, but I'm sure it's a couple of billion people around the world. And I can always tell you right now, there are not enough psychiatrists to compensate for that. There's not enough psychologists. There's not enough mental healthcare workers to compensate. So the AI is just an augmentation. We're trying to look forward into the future that you can ask somebody when you need it. You can ask somebody
Mm-hmm.
when I'm feeling down and this. But one of the things that we're trying to avoid most of all is this. We do not want the AI to help you when you are in a suicidal state. We
Mm-hmm.
want the AI to refer to an actual person, because that
Mm-hmm.
is a medical, psychological emergency.
Absolutely.
They need to be referred to a real person so that they can be assessed and helped to get the help that they need. I worry about people assuming that this is gonna help them during that time of crisis.
Mm-hmm.
That's not what we're trying to do because you need an actual talking healthy person that you can give this conversation back to back and have a real conversation. There has to be
Yeah.
some kind of human connection, and that's not repeatable as far as I for now. It is not repeatable in AI to have like that real human connection. The idea here is just to provide help to some level, but not to replace. I just want to make that clear,
No, I
right?
yeah, I definitely understand that. And when I what I heard from you was literally kind of like the call centers that people call. I don't know if they have call centers in the Philippines for crisis hotlines and stuff like that, but like in the U.S.,
We do.
we have we have
Yeah.
crisis hotlines, and so. But what I liked about the AI version though is you can talk to a person on one of those hotlines, right? But but the very fact that an AI could possibly refer you to a movie or a song, like I'm thinking like Regarding Henry. I don't know if you ever saw the movie Regarding Henry with Harrison Ford. Is like, yeah, great movie, and 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 I love that movie. Is like for a lot of things that are said into it, so that while someone's waiting for your office to open or somebody else's office to open, they can be watching Regarding Henry, be distracted, get some little themes and stuff like that, have their heaviness a little lighter, until it's like they can schedule an appointment and come in, or have a what do you call it? A music list is like once again with
Yeah,
music.
yeah, yeah.
So yeah, no, no,
Yeah,
I
that's the whole point. Yeah.
and that
The
goes
idea
deeper
is
than
like
what you would
being,
get in the call center. Go ahead, go ahead.
yeah, because like in a call center you can call this is also like in a call center you call them um because we have call centers here in the Philippines, but not as guys. Because these are the call centers that here are, from what I know, at least in Cebu City, it's a small operation, not that many, and they're semi-funded government, semi-funded privately before, right? And when I was there, and the thing is, do you imagine how many calls that come in, and you're only manned by like I'm not going to say the number, but just a little bit of these people. So
Yeah,
what happens is the same thing that happened to me is that you don't have enough people, or you can't spend enough time talking with one person because there's a time limit that you
hmm
can only talk like maybe an hour or two or whatever. It's not it's forever. You know the one thing about the AI is the conversation never stops. When
hmm
you can keep asking, you can keep asking, you can keep asking, and then it will just keep on answering. And when you're tired of it, you stop until you're tired of talking to the AI, and maybe
go
tomorrow
to
you
sleep.
sleep for now, then you continue the conversation. You can still continue the conversation,
Yeah,
and the AI does not forget. You know, the AI
yeah,
doesn't know have notes. It doesn't forget. Like, oh, you still had this conversation. That we'll just continue having a conversation, and that's
hmm
the difference. You're
for
getting
sure.
24 hours support, better. And I think
Well, I
that's an
think that that
important
is.
thing. That
Go ahead.
I'm trying to say that's an important thing here is that we want to really make sure that the people that need support get it, because this is in my humble opinion, this is what's happening in the world. There's a lot of bad things that are happening, but there's also a lot of bad things that are happening to good people.
Hmm
And these people, in spite of everything that happening in the world, they're experiencing it personally. And when they're
hmm
experiencing it personally, people develop anxiety, develop depression, and sometimes they have no one to turn to. There comes a point where it's a fine line when they start thinking of killing themselves. So the AI, which I hope, my dream, is that the AI stops this from happening before at the anxious stage. or at the depressive stage, because I do
Mm-hmm.
not want to have the number of people that are thinking about suicide is a lot more than it was back in the day during our time, Eric. And
Mm-hmm.
like earlier before the shows, we were talking, and I was telling you that um, I have had, you know, the most young patient at 9 years old, and he was just about to jump off a building, and it scares me that, you know, I remember being nine. At 9 years old, all I was thinking about was GI Joes and Transformers and, playing, you know.
Yeah,
And this 9-year-old is thinking about committing suicide, and it's young, dude. That's young, and I've never heard about that bad, that fast. And the hope is with these kids who they have access to cell phones anyway. They have access to their laptops, to their iPads. So why not, you know, let them use it in a positive way? Like I'm feeling
absolutely.
down, but I need help, and I want to feel better about myself, or I have a problem, and they tell you like what you think I should prioritize based on this is my goal and this is the thing I want, and maybe the AI can help. You know,
Mm-hmm.
to be
And
honest,
give. Go
uh,
ahead.
this is what I feel. If I say with this AI, it will all be worth it.
Mm-hmm. I agree, and so I really agree. And so, but since you touched upon kind of the darker side of life, so I think that's a good segue into maybe the darker side of AI. Let's talk about some potential risks of AI. What are your thoughts on this? What are your thoughts on the safety and ethical concerns around surrounding AI?
Now, um, I actually gave this a lot of thought, and I thought about that AI has its good sides and bad sides, right? I mean, everything in life has good and bad sides. AI may the one thing that AI does not have, um, in the truest sense of the word, as of now, is the ability to have emotion as we experience it as human beings, right? And with that emotion, you have emotions like love, anger, hate, um, these kinds of emotions, for example. It complicates the human interaction between you and me, but the AI doesn't have it. The AI doesn't really understand those kind of, it understands concepts, but doesn't understand what it feels to love. It doesn't understand what it feels to be angry. It assumes that it might feel this way. It assumes that this is love and how humans experience it. But it can't say this is how it feels to be in love. Now, the other side of this question is this: if it's all based on logic, there is no replacement for it to be human, if I make sense. You know what I mean?
Mm-hmm.
Like, it's not, and there lies a safety issue. Because I know it sounds very sci fi, but this is the thing. There's a, I was trying to remember what the name of that thing was. There was a conundrum that was built in psychology, and it was about you had somebody lying on a train. There's two train tracks, right?
Mm-hmm.
And had to, and there was an incoming train on both tracks, but you can only pick. Oh, sorry. There's one train and there's two train tracks, but you have to choose between five people lying on the train tracks that are going to be run over, or the 10 people on the other side of the train tracks that are going to be run over. which would you choose? Would you, and they were stopping the train. You had to choose whether left or right. So 10 people on the train tracks, or on the other side of another train track was 5 people. You had to choose whether which one you're going to save, right?
Mm-hmm.
So being logical, you would say, if I had no choice, lesser people, right? I will run down to 5 people compared to the 10, right?
Depending if
Everybody
you know any other
would do
variables,
that.
exactly. Exactly.
Yeah, everybody would make that assumption. Like, obviously, the letter one, it's lesser. But this is the thing. What if it was your kid lying down on that within those 5 people? Your wife, your entire family was part of the 5 people. Who would you sacrifice? The
Mm-hmm.
5 people or the 10 strangers you don't know?
Mm-hmm.
So this is the thing. Your love cannot be interpreted in a logical way.
For sure.
That's the thing. You know what I mean? That the variables there. You have to, okay, new variable, new thing. I got to figure this out. And you can't quantify love per se. People say, like, you have a 1 to 10. How much do you love him? Yes, you can quantify it that bit, but what is your matrix? It's not really there. And I
Mm-hmm.
don't know if we'll learn this later on. I honestly don't know. But this is the thing. AI has a tendency to give you suggestions based on what the knowledge it, you're giving it. But
Mm-hmm.
can it really learn how to be in love with you rather than how can it be? It can show how to that it seems to love you,
Mm-hmm.
but can it really be in love with you? That makes sense.
Yeah, no, it
And
makes
those are
consent.
my. Sorry, go ahead.
No, like I say, it makes complete sense. And so, unless we get really sci-fi and think of those movies like Johnny Five is Alive, is like, but
Yeah,
in
you know what I
today's
mean. Yeah, I
current,
remember that.
yeah,
What is it? Short Circuit. I remember
yeah,
watching that
exactly,
back in
Sir
the
Circuit,
Short Circuit.
exactly, yeah, exactly. So maybe AI will get that to that place someday. You never know, but um, because I just, so many things boggle the mind. We have all these movies. Art imitates reality, right? So. Um, but but yeah, I I was I was surprised that you hadn't mentioned anything about also the possibility of, remember, AI is only as good as its data set, right? And so think about in your realm of specifically what's programmed in that data set for it to get the empathy, to get whatever it's going to get. You have to trust the source of the programming, right? And in your area, you really don't want anything. You don't want anybody producing AI to help people in mental health that could be with corrupted data, if you know what I mean.
Oh yeah,
Have
yeah,
you thought?
yeah. Because like every machine, and mind you, I want to point out my age, but I remember the first Apple computers coming out, and the PCs first coming out, and yes, I remember playing with the first video game ever, Pong. You know,
Pong,
um,
exactly. I remember Pong.
you remember it
I
was.
remember
What
Pong.
I'm
Yeah.
saying is, whatever input you put in a machine is exactly what the output would be. Like it would base its decision on whatever input you put in on.
Mm-hmm.
And with the advent of internet and quantum computing and the data sets that are out there and multiple data sets, and I and it needs to be said, no matter how bad this sounds, it needs to be said that there are a lot of disinformation out there that
Yes.
this AI might base its decisions on. But like I said, we needed to limit what comes into this AI, so it has to be research based, what we consider top tier research information. that we let go into this AI, so that it doesn't, just say, oh, there's an anecdotal story where if you eat 10 ladybugs, become an immortal, and you do not become schizophrenic anymore. And it's an anecdotal story. And next thing I know, you're going to have patients of mine eating 10 ladybugs and trying to find ladybugs and start eating them. No, we don't want that. So we
Yeah.
need to base it on, this is why it's different. And I also that question compared to another AI. What's different with yours? That we are, and we are still continuing to evolve with this, is that we're trying to put data sets that we would consider industry standards, acceptable standards worldwide on psychiatry and psychology.
Mm-hmm.
That's accepted, and not just some random piece of info that's being sucked in there and said, "Oh, this is what's going in." I'm like, no, that's not something we want to do. We want to try to put in um, the best information possible. With that being said, it's not. y- There's a possibility, yes, but based on our criteria that we considered on, which we think is a good thing, what we want to put in there, that makes sense. But I wouldn't be. It wouldn't be. I would be remiss. Let's put it this way. I would be remiss to say that, would it be biased still? Just, yes, it might be biased if it weren't a panel of people saying, "Oh yeah, this is what we want to put in," because, like, as a group, you can be biased, right? You can, like you said, the data set. I can, if I, let's just put it this way: if it was a political, uh, if it was a political machine or political AI that we wanted to do,
Mm-hmm.
and I would, you in the United States, you have Democrats, you have liberals, you have uh, Republicans, you have eco warriors, whatever. Let's let that involved. If one group takes control of that AI, then it will put all its principles into that AI. Correct?
Mm-hmm.
You agree?
Yeah.
And then imagine that AI teaching your kids specifically, and that's what they'll teach 100% all the time. So what happens to your kids
Mm-hmm.
later on? They will, and this is what they've been exposed. They've been exposed. They've been exposed. That's why more Republican. If you grew up in a Republican household, you'll become a Republican when you grow up. You grew up as a Democrat or liberal household, you end up becoming a liberal Democrat. Most likely. I'm not saying all the time, but I'm saying most likely.
Mm-hmm.
But it's a matter of influence. So what happens to the AI is the same to us. We are influenced by the person who teaches us, who brought us up as kids. And this is, AI is like a kid. Whatever you teach it, it will learn it that way. There's modeling based on who programs it or who brings it up. That makes sense.
Mm-hmm. Makes complete sense. So,
Yeah.
uh, we've gone through some really rabbit holes, some deep topics here.
I know. Sorry. I have a tendency to do that.
Yeah, no, those are my favorite kinds of conversations, actually. And so, and it's important topics. I mean, this is, even though everyone's talking about AI, people who are actually implementing and using it is still such a small 1%, so to speak. So we have a long way to go. Even and then there's the other reality that AI has been a part of our life is like for over a decade or longer, depending on who you talk to and what you're talking about. And yet we still have just touched the tip of the iceberg. But it's like with quantum computing and computer speeds getting faster and faster and faster and faster, um, it has the ability to transform the world, faster than we can actually imagine. And so, So these are really some really important issues. But I like the fact that your focus is on mental health in a world where I see so many people hurting and so many people are uncertain, and we live in a world right now where there is so much uncertainty, and it seems like the uncertainty is rapidly increasing versus decreasing, which of course creates more anxiety is like for some people who have low thresholds, or even medium thresholds to such things. And if you don't have the right tools to be able to counterbalance what society, what the world, what the billboards, what the movies, what the social media, what everything is bombarding, potentially bombarding a human being with, nonstop. You talk about not being enough psychiatrists and mental health counselors and counselors and coaches and everything else like that. How can there be when there's so much content being created? It's like not just by entities, but even by individuals. And so it's just a rapid flow of content. And sometimes human beings need to learn to put down the devices, put down the things, and not consume so much. Be more creators of content is like than consumers of content. Maybe is like their mental health might be a little bit better. Who knows? I don't know. But um, what I would like to ask you is, first I wanted to say thank you for sharing your insights with us today. And before we wrap this up, could you share with us a specific project or accomplishment related to AI that you're most proud of?
Um, specific something specific is actually coming up with this program and trying to figure out uh, about this specific project, this well-being buddy AI that we're developing and we're going to release, is that we really took time to figure out what we wanted to put in this AI, and that it would be able to interact with you and have a private conversation that nobody needs to know about, but between you and the AI. Like we don't even gather data on on uh on whoever's accessing this particular AI, and we don't. I don't, because we understand the privacy that's important. We really want to go there and really the privacy of the person asking these questions. That the conversation is only between the AI and themselves.
Mm-hmm.
We don't save the data, we don't share the data. It's just between them. Like we don't want to know. I don't want to know unless the patient tells me in their own conversation when they follow up with us. The
Mm-hmm.
second part that I love is we really want to redirect these people when the AI detects that this person really needs to talk to an actual psychiatrist or actual psychologist or a mental health worker. And we try to direct them towards those people. Because the important thing is the person who really needs help gets the help that they need.
Mm-hmm.
And because at least it recognizes is when the person's really spiraling and they really then they can get help to where they need when they need it. You know what I mean? Like at least when I wake up, I know ding ding, this person actually needs help. This is your priority because this is what's going on. And we had to teach the AI that. And that's one of the parts that I'm really, really proud of. Is it a perfect AI? Far from it. This is still an evolving AI. We're
Mm-hmm.
trying to do our best to make it the best version. But like
Mm-hmm.
any AI project, it needs to evolve and get better.
I like the name Wellbeing Buddy, and so my Wellbeing
Yeah,
Buddy. Yeah, it's like so.
yeah.
So it's really a privilege and an honor is like to know that you're behind that project and 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 packaging it to be able to be
I've been
released.
working with a team in Singapore, as you know, Eric. Like we've been working with I don't mention their names, but we're working with a group to
Yeah,
actually
yeah.
uh, do the back end of all this. Because I'm a psychiatrist. I'm not any computer ninja kiddo. You know,
Uh,
we come up with the concept, we work it together, and then we work it as a team. I'm very proud of my
mhm.
team.
Well, yep. I'm very proud of you. I'm very proud of the team in the back channels, and so I happen to have some. I have a magic ball, so I have a little insight on some things, and so, so yeah, no, these are interesting, exciting times, and it's always fun to spend time with people. You know, I'm ruler in peace, and so my motto is "Nos te ipsum et carpe diem." My motto and rallying cry is Nos te ipsum et carpe diem, know thyself and seize the day. And so
Nice.
when I meet other people who are striving to help people know themselves better so that they can seize the day, I'm with kindred spirits. So I've really enjoyed is like this particular interview. I've really enjoyed getting to know you. I really love knowing about the project that you're working on. And before we go, and so I would just, you know, to say that what you're working on is impressive is an understatement, but it really, really is impressive. And but I like to give all my guests one last opportunity. And so, is there anything else you'd like to add about AI or your work in this field before we call this a day, or a night, or a morning, or evening, whenever someone is listening to this?
Okay. Mm, I hope, I hope that this gift, this thing that we come up will help as many people in the world and to help them talk to their problems. Be a starting point for uh, our well-being by AI to be a starting point where they can have conversation with real people, not just with an AI. I want them to develop conversation skills to actually open up to other people, not with just an AI. The AI is there to help. It's an augmentation. It's not place anyone. We want it to develop more self confidence in people so that they can open up to have closer actual human relation. We don't want it to exchange for somebody else. We want the people to actually begin to figure out who they are and what they stand for. Like you said, I love your carpe diem, your whole motto. It's awesome, and I'd actually want to use that on my patients. To be honest, now that you've told me, I think that a lot of my patients would benefit from that. And but what I'm trying to say is that I want everybody to look at this AI as a helper, not a replacement, but as a helper, and to let them go through their journey of mental health and begin to figure out who they are and what they stand for. Because honestly, if you know who are and you know what you stand for, nobody can make you feel small. Nobody can bully you. Nobody can hurt you. Because the one thing that most people always forget is this: you can't control what the world does to you, but you can control how you react to the world. You can control how you think and how you act, but you can't control the world and what it's doing to us. So if you want to make a change, begin from inside, and then you can change your thoughts, and I guarantee you can change the world.
Here,
Make
here,
sense?
here, 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 here. I agree with you completely, and so when people learn to the difference between reacting and responding, is like it can make all the difference in the world. And so,
It
you
always
know,
does, buddy. It always does.
absolutely. Well, this has been just another priceless show, and that's all we have time for today. But thank you again, Dr. Jorge, for joining us on Machine Minds, and thank you for our audience for tuning in. And join us next time as we continue to explore the fascinating world of AI. And this is Ruler and Peace is like saying goodbye, 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 goodbye until our next episode. All right. So, Dr. Onward, thank you so much.
Eric, thank you for having me.
That's all
And
we
it's
have.
ruler in
You
peace.
very,
I've been seeing, watching you guys. It's awesome.
all right. You're
Take
very,
care.
very welcome. Take care now, everyone. Bye bye now.
Bye bye.